Hello and welcome. I'm Dana Kabunda, and joining me today for a very special Zoom interview is Dr. D. Terrence Foster. He is a stress and pain management consultant and the author of The Stress Book, 40 plus ways to manage stress and enjoy your life. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Foster.
It is indeed a pleasure, Donna, to have me, and I cherish this opportunity.
So you're here to share with us today an understanding abstract kidnapping disorder, or AKD, as you call it. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why toxic relationships take a real toll on one partner more than the other?
Okay, AKD, abstract kidnapping disorder, is a disorder. If you try to find that in the general literature or the medical literature, you will not find it. It's something that I've created. And I created that from having written this book. And a significant part of the book is how do we manage stress? And one of those chapters deal with getting out of toxic relationship. And toxic relationships have a tremendous effect on so many people, and particularly those in a relationship. And one of the ways in which this sort of escalate is in AKD, abstract kidnapping disorder. And what is abstract kidnapping disorder? It's a disorder of mental illness, like all mental disorder, of course. But the subject matter, once a relationship has been terminated, decide that they're going to mentally kidnap someone. And therefore, if you kidnap someone, you believe that you have access to them, you control what they do, and you're responsible for their every move. Well, that is done abstractly. So therefore, you don't. So how do that person is going through that reconcile the difference of not having control of that person while at the same time having the belief that they do? And that is in part one of the challenges of the mental disorder of abstract kidnapping disorder. Because if you own someone or you think you own someone and they're there, they're doing everything, they're going everywhere, but you're not a part of it, then it becomes an issue.
What are some of the warning signs of being in a relationship that could lead to AKD?
I think one of the first things that one has to look at is when you're getting in a relationship, why is the relationship good or bad? You could look at, is there equality in the relationship? For example, did you have to chase this person all along before you get them? Are you what you call equally yoked? Are you together for the right reason? And then what are some of the X factors in these relationships, such as what are your baggage that you carry into this relationship? How are you able to deal with previous failed relationship? Is that impacting your relationship now? And then you have to look at the power struggle in a relationship. What I mean by this, regardless of how we look at our different gender, sex, some in a relationship, what makes it work, there's a male and a female, or if they're two male or two female, one will have the more dominant role. Which one is it? And who has it? And how does that person who do not have it accepts that? You feel like you've been treated like a male or a female when you think you're something else? That also important. What about the, in addition to the power aspect of it, what about the explosive, the communication part or lack thereof? Is there adequate communication? Not just saying, hi, how are you? But having deep communication. What about the sex of the relationship? Are you sexually compatible? If you're not, then you have a major issue. And some relationship has what they call the respect factor. Do I respect him? Should I respect him? Is he or she deserving of respect? So when you consider all these factors and you look at the possibility of any one of those going south, then of course you're looking at the possibility of relationship that is not meant to last or will not last.
How do you get out of a relationship like this?
Well, that is a big challenge because guess what? You could decide at any moment, okay, if you're married, then of course it's much more difficult for you to say, okay, I'm gone. If it's a relationship where you're not married, then of course you could just disappear. Nobody's gonna come get you. Not always, sometimes they will. But how do you get out of it? You have to make the commitment that it's not working for you. That's the first thing. Accepting that it's not working for you and then make that decision to move forward. Now that's when AKD becomes a major issue because you're telling someone, look, this is not working for me. Sometimes the relationship is not necessarily toxic, but it's a relationship where one or the other party believe it's not going anywhere. And why should they stay in that relationship and continue to just move along in mediocrity, move along in something that is not working. So therefore, they want to move forward. And moving forward then becomes, how do I do this without letting that person feel less than a human being, less than someone who deserves love and care? Maybe you're not the right person to offer that to that person. So therefore, you have to take the time to accept the fact that it's not working and let that person know in the best possible way without necessarily demonizing that person, making them feel that, okay, you're so inadequate and that's why I gotta leave you. And sometimes it's hard to do. Sometimes there's no easy way because people have invested in a relationship and it becomes a challenge when one party decides to leave.
Thank you so much for sharing all this great advice. To learn more about Dr. Foster, his book, The Stress Book, as well as any of his other projects, please visit his website at dterrencefoster.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's indeed a pleasure. Thank you.